Hi, my name is Bella Colonna, and I'm here with Eldrick Robinson, Ben Hrivnak, and Ryan Adair, and we'll be talking about millennials and AI and the risk protections and opportunities. In this presentation, we'll be discussing the key ideas from the TED Talk titled We're Building a Dystopia Just to Make People Click on Ads by Zeynep Tufekci. We'll also be exploring the central warning behind her message and then dive deeper into how millennials in particular are vulnerable to these manipulative systems. Next, we'll cover strategies to help consumers protect themselves. And finally, we'll take a look at the positive side of customer data, because even though there are risks, there is also benefits for both customers and businesses when data is used ethically. In her TED Talk, Zeynep Tufekci warns us about the growing power of AI systems, not just in what they can do, but in how they're being used. She emphasizes we should fear how people in power are using AI and not the AI itself. These systems are designed to influence behavior, especially through persuasion architectures embedded directly into our most private spaces, which is our phones and other devices. They do more than just recommend content. They can target, infer, understand, and deploy actions designed to manipulate users. And because these systems are often opaque, we truly don't understand how they're making these decisions. And this lack of transparency can lead to serious trust issues. She also points out that recommendation engines, which were once simple tools, are now being weaponized. What started as a way to personalize content has entered into a powerful method of steering people's beliefs, purchases, and even political opinions. Her ultimate message is that systematic change is necessary. We need transparency, strong ethical standards, and a focus on the public good, not just profit. So, how does this affect millennials specifically? Millennials are deeply integrated with online platforms. They grew up with social media and digital technology, making them more connected than ever, but also more vulnerable. They're constantly exposed to social media algorithms, biased recommendations, and unregulated data collection. Many of them don't realize just how much of these systems shape what they see, what they believe, and even what they buy. A major vulnerability lies in the lack of awareness. Many millennials don't fully understand how AI influences their choices or their privacy trade offs when they're making by using free services that actually come at the cost of their personal data. This combination of constant exposure and limited awareness makes them a primary target for manipulation. Next is Eldrick.
All right, here we got some real world examples of just bad practice of AI usage of data collection and other things like that. You ever been like talking to somebody and you've been talking about Wingstop or anything like that, and they catch you talking about it, and you see it on your banners when you open your phone or computer. That's a bad way to have stuff catched in your columns and other things like that. Algorithms pick up on what you're interested in, just like YouTube, and asking like what's next between them. And also, when you think of like real world examples, you think of Netflix always watching what you click on, or it's like a constant algorithm affecting the next step and the next step of your life. Sometimes that's good, and sometimes that's like very dangerous. When we look at consumer protection measures, we have some, but they're really also dangerous too, because you also see when you click onto a website, you got to accept all the cookies. Well, what they don't tell you is what are those cookies and what's the fine print behind them. There's also like less transparency when it comes to those type of situations. They sometimes put it in the fine print when they're telling the user, do you want to opt in or opt out? Very dangerous, very unethical, and very unuser friendly when it comes to, oh, I'm giving out my healthcare information or credit card information or a lot of things like that. We all have the spam Gmail or the spam coming from different apps like Shein and stuff, when they want the user to buy more, they flood anything that they can put their hands on to put you in that better position for them to buy their certain things.
And then I'm going to talk about the role of companies and government have in these protective measures. Starting off with companies, I think they should limit their data collection. So, say for a company like Amazon, they don't need to have a bunch of information about you. What they should keep is something like your billing address, your home address. And so that makes it easy for you the next time you use their site to order information and your packages. Next, I think companies should value transparency. I think they should be more clear on what they are doing with their data and what with your data and what data they are actually taking. There's a lot of reason people don't trust online sites. They don't know what they think their data is going to be sold overseas or stuff like that, and so they don't want to use those sites. So they typically stick with one single company. I think they should explain their reasoning for certain ads, or at least have the option to. So, say when you're watching YouTube, you get an ad and you're confused on why you're seeing it. There should be an option to see what the reason is the algorithm put that ad into your video. And then I think users should be allowed to opt out of tracking. Sometimes they are able to, but a lot of times they either don't have the option or the option is very hidden. And so a lot of times their data is being tracked and they don't even want it to be. Moving on to the government, I think an AI oversight board should be created. And so I believe this board should then create AI audit systems. And so what these systems do is they would track AI or audit AI systems and see if they're doing everything ethically and they're not taking data they shouldn't be, what they're doing with the data, etc. I think there should be transparency standards. So this goes back into what I believe the company should be doing. I think it should be mandatory that these companies are transparent with what they're doing with people's data. And then I think privacy protection laws should be expanded to cover more of AI, along with what I said earlier with the AI audit systems. I believe consumers should have these same rights. And then moving on to the positive aspects of customer data collection. For the customers, I believe that it creates a personalized experience. Most of the time when you're on a site, the algorithm is promoting information that it believes you would like. And a lot of times this is correct. Very few times is it wrong. So it does help the consumer see what they like to see. It also helps customers save time. So if you're on Amazon and you ordered something related to like baseball, and then maybe you ordered a bat, and then you'll see in your recommended, you'll see a glove, maybe some baseballs. It helps the consumer save time where they don't have to go searching through a bunch of different websites, a bunch of different catalogs to try to find these products. And then it decreases what I call shopping fatigue, which is for those people that don't necessarily love to shop online, but it is convenient for them. They don't want to have to go through searching through a bunch of sites to find what they want. It helps if there's a product they want, it will be readily available for them. Then moving on to businesses, it helps for them to market to the right audience because these algorithms are searching for people that they think would like certain products. And so they advertise these products to these people, which then goes into the low advertising costs. Creating these algorithms helps them save on advertising costs because they don't have to spend time to research who they should advertise to. The algorithm does that for them. It also increases customer satisfaction. This is proven that customers are more satisfied when they're seeing things that they like and maybe not seeing things that they don't want to see or they aren't interested in ever, and it helps with that. And then repeat business, it allows for consumers who maybe they saw an ad that they really liked that they wouldn't have seen before, and they would come back to that website, maybe order that, and then it will continue to help grow that person's connection with a certain business.
Hi, I'm Ryan. For our last topic, I'm focusing on ethical data use and trust. Millennials are heavily exposed to AI systems and persuasive algorithms on the platforms they use every day. This makes transparency and ethical data use even more important to protect trust and long-term engagement. As Garberding and Johnson explain, customers exist on a spectrum, from short-term transactions to long-term relationships. For customers focused on long-term relationships, trust and commitment are the key drivers of engagement and loyalty. In other words, a customer might be satisfied with a single purchase, but real loyalty comes from feeling confident that a company will use their data responsibly. As mentioned in the TED Talk, AI isn't neutral. It can influence behavior in subtle ways we often don't notice. Algorithms can exploit personal data to target individual weaknesses, so transparency and ethical practices are critical to maintain that trust. Trust leads to commitment, and transparency strengthens trust. When customers understand how their data is used and have control over it, they're more likely to engage positively. For instance, Netflix explains why it recommends certain shows and lets users give feedback through thumbs up or down, while Spotify labels personalized playlists like Make For You and shows when a recommendation is based on your history. Both companies make personalization feel helpful rather than hidden, which builds that trust. On the other hand, companies such as Facebook are a cautionary example because they collect massive amounts of personal data and use it to influence user behavior in ways that are hidden from the user. This lack of transparency can subtly manipulate what people see and their opinions, which can erode trust and make users feel manipulated once they realize that. So in conclusion, millennials are most vulnerable to AI-driven platforms when their personal data is collected and analyzed without transparency. They can be subtly influenced by algorithms, often without realizing how that behavior is being shaped. As Ufechi highlighted in the TED Talk, even something like YouTube recommendations can slowly steer viewers toward viewpoints that they might not have otherwise encountered. Consumer protections are crucial for reducing these risks. At the end of the day, ethical data use isn't just about protecting information, it's about building trust, empowering users, and creating lasting relationships, the very foundation of any company looking to grow its customer base.